Hey guys, it's Evan Proctor, also known as Goosebumps, Senator Goosebumps fan. You also know me from the podcast Can Be Murder, the Goosebumps podcast Can Be Murder. I'll try to put a picture up here. If I don't, sorry. Yeah, also you can tell I'm a big Goosebumps fan, considering I have a Goosebumps musical poster behind me. Yeah. So, I'm gonna read a book. I haven't done that since Beware the Snowman. That was a little hard to get through because that was a hardcover and it was very. Anyway, yeah. The book I'm gonna read today is the one that I said multiple times on the show, on the podcast, that it's my favorite book. And I mean, it's also showing in the background, this guy right here, which is Goosebumps 24, The Phantom of the Auditorium. Yeah, you're probably thinking, wait, really? That's the one? Okay, yeah, here's the thing. I know it's probably obvious that I like this book. I mean, for crying out loud, my character, in the podcast when they're animated is this guy right here. So, yeah, anyway, I'm gonna read the back so you get like a decent amount what the plot's like, before I start, because it might be a while, considering last time was not that easy to record. So yeah, lights, camera, Phantom. Brooke's best friend Zeke had been given the lead role in the school play, The Phantom. Zeke, totally into it. He loves dressing up in the Castletown Phantom costume and scaring the other members of the cast. Brooke thinks Zeke is getting a little too into it. But then, really scary things start happening. A message appears on a piece of scenery. The Phantom strikes. A stage light comes crashing down. Is someone trying to ruin the play? Or is there really a phantom living under the stage? Let me try that again. Or is there really a phantom living under the stage? Readers beware. You're in for a scare. Yeah, so that's basically the main plot. We're probably gonna do an episode on this when we get to it, because it's 24 for crying out loud, so it'll be a while. So yeah. Anyway, let's start. Phantom Auditorium. Oh boy, here we go. Chapter 1. A mysterious phantom haunted our school. No one ever saw him. No one knew where he lived. But he haunted our school for more than 70 years. My best friend Zeke and I were the ones who found him. We found him while we were doing a school play about the phantom. Our teacher told us that the play was a curse, but we didn't really believe her. We thought it was all just like a big joke. But when we saw the phantom for myself, I knew it was no joke. It was all true. Every bit of it. The night we found the phantom, the scariest night of our lives. I should start at the beginning. My name is Brooke Rogers. I'm in the 6th grade in Woods Mill Middle School. Zeke Morris is my best friend. A lot of other girls think it's weird that my best friend is a boy, but I don't care. Zeke is cooler and funnier than any girls I know. He's also the big horror movie fan like me, which is funny because I'm a horror fan myself. But anyway, Zeke and I have been best friends for 9 years. Sorry, my nose. Anyway. We know everything about each other. For instance, I know that Zeke still wears Kermit the Frog pajamas. He hates it when I tell people that. His face always turns a bright shade of red. Then his freckles stand out even more. Zeke hates his freckles almost as much as I hate my glasses. I don't know why he's so hung over about a couple of freckles after a while. You hardly even notice them in the summer when he gets tan. They practically disappear altogether. I wish my glasses could disappear. They make me look nerdy. But if I don't wear them, I'll walk into walls, and we don't want that. Some girls at school think Zeke is cute. I never think of him that way. I guess it's because I know him. I know him my brother. I known him for my entire life, ever since our mom met in that bowling league and discovered they live on the same street. Sorry. Sometimes that happens to me when I read in the camera. Anyway, the same street. The excitement about the Phantom started a couple Fridays ago. School had ended for the day, and I was trying to get my locker open. I pushed my hair back, my face, and turned the combination dial. The stupid lock always jams, and it drives me crazy. Always trying the combination for 4 times. I finally got it open. I threw my books inside and slammed the door shut. No way was I dragging home any textbook over the weekend. As of right this second, I was on vacation 2 whole days and no school. Excellent. But before I could turn around, a fist come wordly toward my ear, pushing my locker with a big bang. "What's up, Brooke?" A voice called from behind me. "No homework this weekend." I didn't have to turn around to know who it is. The only person I know in the whole world could never get away with calling me Brookie. I turned around to see Zeke, a dopey grin. His blonde hair, which was really long in front and very short, almost shaved in the back, fell over one eye. I smiled and stuck out my tongue at him. "Real mature, Brookie," he muttered. Then I flipped my eyelids up so they stayed that way. It was really gross talent I have that usually make people scream and gag. Zeke didn't bat an eye. He had seen my eyelids trick at least a zillion times. "No homework," I replied. "No books." Yeah, this is very old book, so it's gonna give me a minute to, how do I do this? Yeah, okay. No, nothing. I'm totally free this weekend. Then I got a great idea. "Hey Zeke," I said, "do you think Rich can take us to see the Creature Festival tomorrow? I was dying to see the 3 Creature movies playing at the Cineplex. One was supposed to be in 3D. Zeke and I go to scary movies all the time just to laugh at the scary parts. We have nerves of steel. Concerning later on you won't, but whatever. We never get scared." "Maybe," Zeke answered, brushing his hair away from his face. "But Richard is grounded. He can't use his car for a week." Rich is Zeke's older brother. He can spend most of his life being grounded. By the way, we never see Rich in the episode. So, yeah, that's one character never in the show. So, anyway. Where is it? Zeke shifted his backpack over his other shoulder. "Forget about the creature features, Brookie. Aren't you forgetting something?" he narrowed his eyes at me. "Something big?" I scratched up my nose. "Forgetting something? I couldn't think of a thing. What?" I asked firmly. "Come on, Brookie, think." I really have no idea what Zeke was talking about. I pulled my long hair back into a ponytail and tied it together with the hair scrunchie that was on my wrist. I always wear a hair scrunchie on each wrist. I like to be prepared. Anyway, you never knew when you're gonna need a hair scrunchie. "Really, Zeke? I don't know," I said, making a tight ponytail. "Why didn't you just tell me?" And then when it hit me, "The cast list!" I yelled, slapping my forehead. How could I forget? How could I have forgotten? Zeke and I have been waiting 2 long weeks to find out if we got the parts in the school play. "Come on, let's check it out." I grabbed hold of Zeke's flannel shirt sleeve and I pulled him all the way to the auditorium. Zeke and I had both tried out for the play. Well, yes, last year we had small parts in the musical Guys and Dolls. Miss Walker, our teacher, told us that the play this year was going to be scary. That's all me and Zeke I had to hear. We had to be in this play. We found a big crowd of kids at the bulletin board. They're all trying to read the cast list at once. I was so nervous. I can't look, Zeke, I cried. You checked, okay? "Yeah, no problem." "Wait, I'll do it," I yelled, changing my mind. "I'll do it. I do it live," Zeke said, driving him so crazy. I took a deep breath and pushed through the crowd of kids, biting my left thumbnail. I crossed my fingers on my right hand, stared up at the list. But when I saw what was posted up there, I nearly bite off my own thumb. Dang it, this is hard to do. Like, at least with the hardcover, it was a little bit easier. Anyway, okay. Tacked on the building board, besides the cast list, was a sign. "Attention, Brooke Rogers! Please report to Mr. Levi's office. He has been suspended from school." Ooh. Chapter 2. Suspended, I gasped in shock. Had Mr. Larry found out that I was the one who let the gerbil loose in the teacher's lounge? Suspended? I felt sick to my stomach. My parents were going to be horrified. Then I heard some giggling. I spun around to see Zeke laughing his head off. Other kids were laughing too. I stared angrily at Zeke. Did you put that sign up? Of course, she replied, laughing even harder. He had a sick sense of humor. I don't believe it for a second, I lied. I turned back to the board to read the cast list. I had to read the list 3 times. I couldn't believe what I saw. Zeke, I shouted over at the other kids' heads. You and I, we're the stars! Zeke's mouth dropped open in surprise. Then he grinned at me. Yeah, for sure, he muttered, rolling his eyes. No, really, I cried. We got the 2 biggest parts. Come check it out for yourself. You got the part of the Phantom. No way! Zeke still didn't believe me. She's telling the truth, Zeke, a girl behind me said. Tina Prowler, a 7th grader, pushing for the crowd. I always got a feeling that Tina Prowler didn't like me very much. I had no idea why. I hardly even knew her. She always seemed so frowny at me, like I had a piece of spinach caught in my tooth or something. Let me see that list, Zeke demanded, pushing for everyone. Wow, I did get the starting part. I'm gonna be Esmeralda. Isn't that right? Esmeralda. Yeah, it's Esmeralda, I think it is. I read. I wonder who Esmeralda is. Hey, maybe she's the Phantom's crazy old stepmother or something. Maybe she's the headless wife who come back for the dead to give it a rest, Brookie. Tina said, frowning at me. Esmeralda is just the daughter of some guy who owned a theater, she said as Esmeralda were a nothing part. What part did you get, Tina? I asked. Tina shifted uncomfortably. A few other kids turned to her to hear her reply. I'm your understudy, she muttered, staring down at the floor. So if you get sick or something, you can't be in the show, I'll play the part of Esmeralda. I'm also in charge of all the scenery, she boasted. I wanted to say something mean and nasty to put Miss High and Mighty, Tina Prowler, in her place in front of everybody, but I couldn't think of anything. I'm not mean or nasty person. It's a hard thing of a mean and nasty thing to say, even when I want to. So I decided to ignore her. I was too excited about the play to let Tina Prowler get it to me. I put on my jean jacket and swung my backpack over my shoulder. Come on, Phantom, I said to Zeke. Let's go haunt the neighborhood. Ah, boy. What did I get myself into? Anyway. On Monday afternoon, we were starting rehearsing the play. Miss Walker, my teacher, was in charge. She stood on the stage in the auditorium, staring down at us. She clutched a tall stack of scripts in her arms. Miss Walker has curly red hair, pretty green eyes. She also has very skin as pencil. She is a very good teacher. A little too strict, but a good teacher. Zeke and I choose the 2 seats next to each other in the 3rd row. I glanced around at the other kids. Everyone was talking. Everyone was seeming really excited. Do you know what this play is about? Corey Skiller asked me. He's playing my father. I mean, Esmeralda's father. Corey has chestnut brown hair like me. Also wears glasses. Maybe that's why we were playing relatives. Beats me, I answered with a shrug. No one knows what the play is about. I just know it's supposed to be scary. I know what it's about, Tina Prowler announced loudly. I turned around my seat. How do you know? I demanded. Miss Walker hasn't passed out the scripts yet. My great-great-grandfather went to Woods Middle School during a long time ago. He told me all about the Phantom, Tina bragged. I started to tell Tina that nobody cared about her great-great-grandfather's dumb story, but then she added, he also told me the curse on the play. That shut everybody up, even me. Even Miss Walker was listening now. Zeke nudged me, his eyes open wide with excitement. A curse, he whispered happily. Cool. I nodded. Very cool, I muttered. My great-great-grandfather told me a really scary story about the play, Tina continued, and he told me about the Phantom in the school. A real Phantom who... Tina! Miss Walker interrupted. Stepping to the front of the stage, she peered down sharply at Tina. I really don't think you should tell that story today. Huh? Why not? I cried. Huh, why not? Yeah, why not? Zeke joined in. I don't think it's a good time to listen to a scary story that might not be true. Miss Walker replies sternly. Today, I'm gonna pass out the script and... Do you know the story? Tina demanded. Yes, I heard it, Miss Walker told her, but I wish you'd keep it to yourself, Tina. It's a very scary story, very upsetting, and I really don't think... Tell us, tell us, tell us! She started to chant, and we instantly all grinned up at her teacher and chanted today. Chanted loudly. Tell us, tell us, tell us! Why didn't Miss Walker want us to hear the story, I wonder? How scary could it be? I mean, consider later on, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh boy, I must... Oh boy. I wish I was in the chair right now. Anyway. Chapter 3. Tell us, tell us, tell us. We all started to continue the chant. Miss Walker raised both her hands up to be silent. This only made us stand by our feet in time to chant. Start chanting. Tell us, tell us, tell us. Okay, she said finally. Okay, I'll tell you the story. But remember, it's just a story. I don't want you to get too scared. You scare us, he cried. Everyone laughed, but I was staring hard at Miss Walker. I could see she really didn't want to tell us this. No, she didn't really want us to know the story anyway. Oh boy. Okay, let's see right here. Sorry. Miss Walker always says she could talk about anything that we wanted to hear. I began to wonder, why didn't she want to talk about the Phantom? The story starts 72 years ago, Miss Walker began. The year Westville Middle School was first built. I guess Tina's great-great-grandfather was a student here that year. Yes, he was, Tina called out. He was in the first class that went to the school. He told me that there was only 25 kids in his whole school. Miss Walker crossed her skinny arms over front of her yellow sweater and continued her story. The students wanted to put on a play. Her story. The students wanted to put on a play. A boy was haunting around in the basement of the old wood mill's library. He found a script down there. It was called The Phantom. It was a very scary play about a girl who was kidnapped by a mysterious phantom. The boy showed it to his teacher. The teacher decided it would be fun to perform the play. It would be a great production and with the best scary special effects that they could create. Zeke and I exclaimed, exchange excited glances. The play has special effects. We love special effects. Rehearsals for the Phantom began, Miss Walker continued. The boy who had discovered the play at the library won the lead role of the Phantom, which, by the way, in the musical, we were told that they weren't allowed to do it because of the principal, but yeah, this is the book. That was before this came out. Anyway, everyone turned to look at Zeke. He smiled proudly as he has something to do with it. They're practicing the play after school every day, Miss Walker continued. Everyone had a really good time. Everyone was working really hard to make a good play. It was all going smoothly until she hesitated. Tell us, I cried out loudly. Tell us, tell us. A few kids started chanting again. I want to remind you all, this is just a story, Miss Walker said again. There's no proof this actually happened. We all nodded. Miss Walker cleared her throat, then continued. On one night at the play where kids were all in costumes, the parent and the friends were filling the auditorium. This auditorium was... The kids were really excited and nervous. Their teacher called them together to give them a pep talk. The play was about to start, but everyone surprised. The boy playing the Phantom was nowhere to be found. Miss Walker began to pace back and forth on the stage. She continued to tell the story. They called him. They looked for him backstage, but they couldn't find the Phantom, the star of the show. They spread out. They searched everywhere, but they couldn't find him. The boy had vanished. They searched for an hour, Miss Walker continued. Everyone was so upset, so frightened, especially the boy's parents. Finally, the teacher stepped out on stage and announced the play could not go on. But before she could speak, a horrible scream rang over the auditorium. Sorry, that's my attempt at that. Miss Walker stopped pacing. It was a frightening scream. People said it was like an animal howl. The teacher ran towards the sound. She called to the boy. Now there's only silence. Heavy silence. No more screaming. Once again, the entire school was searching, but the boy was never found. Miss Walker swallowed hard. We're all silent. Not in one breath. He would never sing again, she replied. I guess you could say that the Phantom became a real Phantom. He just disappeared and the play was never performed. She stopped pacing and stared out at us. Her eyes moved from seat to seat. Weird, someone behind me muttered. Do you think it's true? I heard a boy whisper. And beside me, Corey Skeeler let out a gasp. Oh no! He cried, pointing out to the side door. There he is! There's the Phantom! I turned along with everyone else and see the hideous face of the Phantom grinning at us from the doorway. Boy, Sorry, just give me a minute. Thank God, it's only 26 pages. Jesus Christ. Oh, great. Yeah, anyway. Chapter 4. Corey Skeller screamed. A lot of kids screamed. I think even Tina screamed. The Phantom's face was twisted, an evil, ugly grin. His bright red hair stood straight up on his head. One eyeball bulging out from the socket. Black stitches covered the other, and a deep scar ran over all the way down his side of his face. Boo! The Phantom yelled, bursting into the aisles. More screams. I just laughed. I knew it was Zeke. I could see him wearing that dumb mask before. He kept it in his locker in case he needed it. Zeke, give us a break, I cried. He pulled the mask off by the hair. His eyes were red underneath it. Zeke grinned at everyone. He knew that he just pulled off a really good joke. The kids were laughing now. Some threw an empty milk carton at Zeke. Another kid tried to trip Zeke as he headed back to his seat. Very funny, Zeke, Miss Walker said, rolling her eyes. I hope we won't have any more visits from the Phantom. Zeke dropped back in his seat next to me. Why did you scare everyone like that? I whispered. Felt like it. Zeke ran back at me. So, we'll be the first kid to perform the play? Corey asked Miss Walker. Our teacher and I. Yes, we will. After the boy disappeared 72 years ago, the school decided to destroy all the scripts and the scenery. But one copy of the script was kept locked up in the school wall for all these years. Now, we're going to perform The Phantom for the first time. Even though the actual Phantom story is popular musical, but whatever. Anyway, the kids started to talk excitedly. It took Mr. Walker a while to quiet us down. Now listen, she said, putting her hands on her pencil-thin waist. This was just a story, an old school legend. I bet even Tina's great-great-grandfather will tell you that this isn't true. I only told you this to put you all in the horror mood. But what about the curse? I shouted after her. Tina said there was a curse. Yes, Tina cried out. My grandfather said to play with the curse. The Phantom won't let anyone perform it. Grandpa said the Phantom is still here in the school. The Phantom has been haunting the school for over 70 years, but no one has ever seen him. Excellent, Zeke declared, his eyes lighting up. Some kids laughed, some kids looked kind of uncomfortable, kind of scared. I told you, it was just a story, Miss Walker said. Now, let's get down to business, okay? Who wants to help me pass the script out? I made a copy for each one of you. I want you to take them home and begin studying your parts. Zeke and I were practically falling over each other running up to the stage, helping Miss Walker. She handed us each a stack of scripts. We climbed down and started handing them out. When our hand came to Corey, he put his hand back. What if the curse is true? He called up to Miss Walker. Corey, please, she insisted. Enough talk about the Phantom and the curse. Okay? We have a lot of work to do, and she didn't finish. Instead, she screamed. I turned back to the stage. Where's Miss Walker? Had been standing a second before. She was gone. She had vanished into thin air. I'm already 24 minutes into this recording. Jesus Christ. I'm only on chapter 5. Holy fuck. Sorry. Forget I said that curse. Anyway. Chapter 5. The script fell from my hands. I turned to make a dash for the stage. I heard kids screaming, shouting, and crying out in surprise. She just disappeared, I heard Corey utter. But that's impossible, a girl shrieked. Zeke and I were screaming along stage together. Miss Walker, where are you? I cried. Miss Walker? Silence. Walker, where are you? I called. Miss Walker. Oh, wait, sorry. Miss Walker, can you hear me? Zeke cried. Then I hear Miss Walker's faint cry for help. I'm down here, she cried. Down where? Zeke cried. Down here. Down below the stage where her voice seemed to came from. Help me up, Miss Walker called again. What's going on here, I wondered. How can we hear her, but we can't see her? I was first to spot the big square hole in the stage. Zeke and the other kids gathered around it. I stepped down to the edge of the opening and peered down. Miss Walker was staring up at me. She was standing on a small square platform, 5 or 6 feet below the stage. You have to raise the platform, she said. How do we bring it up? Zeke asked. Press the peg over there on the stage, Miss Walker instructed. She pointed to a small wooden peg to the right of the trapdoor. Got it, Zeke cried. He pushed down the peg. We heard a clunking sound and a grinding sound and a groaning sound. The slow groaning, but slowly the platform came rising up. Miss Walker stepped off the platform. She grinned at us and brushed off the back of her blue slacks. I forgot about the trapdoor, she said. I could have broken a leg or something, but I think I'm okay. We all gathered around. Zeke dropped down on his hands and knees and started staring at the trapdoor. I forgot to mention the best part about the play, Miss Walker told us. This trapdoor was built for the first production of the Phantom. It was totally forgotten. It was never used in the school play until now. My mouth drove open. A trapdoor? How awesome! Miss Walker reached down and tugged Zeke's back from the opening. Careful, you'll fall, she said. I lowered the platform earlier. I forgot it was still down there. Zeke climbed to his feet. I could see he was really interested in the trapdoor. When the Phantom was first supposed to perform, Miss Walker told us. The school had this trapdoor built so the Phantom could disappear and rise up from below. Back then, it was a very impressive special effect. I turned my eyes to Zeke. He seemed about exploding with excitement. And I'm the only guy to get used to this in the play? He asked eagerly. Can I try it now, please? Not yet, Zeke, Miss Walker replied firmly. I still need to have it checked out for safety reasons. Until it's been checked, I don't want anybody fooling around with the trapdoor. Zeke and I were already on our hands and knees, inspecting the trapdoor. Miss Walker cleared her throat loudly. Is that clear, Zeke? She said. Zeke glanced up. He sighed. Yes, Miss Walker, he muttered. Good, Miss Walker said. Now let's get back to our seats. I'd like to read through the play once before we leave today, just to give you an idea of the story and the characters. We returned to our Zeke. Zeke's impressions caught my eye. I could see that look on his face. Before, his forehead was wrinkled, his left eye was up. I could tell he was deep in thought. It took more than an hour to read through the play. The Phantom was really a scary play. It's about a man named Carlo, who owned a very old theater where the play and the concerts were performed. Carlo thought the theater was haunted. Turns out there was really a phantom living in the basement. His face is really scared. He looks like he's a monster. So he wore a mask, but Carlo's daughter, Esmeralda, fell in love with the Phantom. She planned to run away with him, but her handsome boyfriend, Eric, found out. Eric was in love with Esmeralda. He tracked down the Phantom in his secret home in a dark passage far beneath the theater. They fought, and Eric killed the Phantom. That broke Esmeralda's heart. She ran away, never to be seen again. And the Phantom survived as a ghost. He haunted the theater forever. Pretty dramatic, huh? I think we all enjoy reading for the play. We could perform it really fun. We could see it. It was going to be really fun to perform. When I read my lines, that's only Scooby when I said it. When I read my lines as Esmeralda, I tried to picture what it was like on being character on stage, being costume, saying the lines on stage. Once I glanced back and saw Tina Mouse silently to herself, she stopped and caught me watching her. She frowned at me the way she always does. Tina's totally jealous, I told myself. She really wanted to be in Marilla. But for a moment, I felt bad for Tina. I didn't really like Tina for very much, but I didn't want her to hate me just because I had the part she wanted to play. But I didn't have much time to think about that. I have a lot of lines to read. Esmeralda was on stage a lot in this play, and it was a really big part. We finally finished the play. We finally finished reading the play. Sorry. We all clapped and cheered. Okay, go home, everybody. Miss Walker instructed, waving us to the door. Start learning your parts. We'll meet again tomorrow. As I began to follow the other kids to the door, I felt a hand pulling me back. I turned to find Zeke pulling me behind a whole concert beam. Zeke, what are you doing? I demanded. He raised a finger to his lip. Shh. His eyes were really excited. Let them all go, he whispered. I peeked from behind the pillar. Miss Walker lowered the lights, and she collected papers and made her way out the auditorium door. Why are we hiding here? I whispered impatiently. Zeke grinned at me. Let's try out the trap door, he whispered back. Huh? Let's try it out, quick, while there's no one in here. I glanced around the auditorium, dark and empty. Come on, don't be a wimp, Zeke urged, pulling me towards the stage. Let's try it out, okay? What could happen? I turned uncertainly to the stage. Okay, I said. Zeke was right. What could happen? Oh boy, jeez. What did I get myself into? Okay, before I continue, sorry, I know it's 30 minutes into this recording, but the reason why I only did like the final act of this book, here's the reason why. This is if I remember correctly, if you're not including this sneak peek, it's 20. I don't know if you can see that, but it's look right there. That's how many pages it is. Like, I learned my lesson last time doing the Haunted Snowman book. That was very hard considering it was a hardback. And now I'm doing one with. I love the book, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I should make it up into parts, even though it's 32 minutes into the script. But okay, I think I'll do a few more chapters. I'm sorry. It's just it's a long book. Well, not a long book, but you get my point. Okay, I hate to do this. I really do hate to do this. I feel like I had to skip a lot of this because most of this is just them finding clues. If you've seen the musical or seen the episode, you know what happens at the time. So, I'm sorry. I would go for a lot of this, but there's other videos who read the book, so yeah. So, there we go. Oh, where is it? Okay, let's see here. No, that's not the one. Okay, I'm gonna skip chapter 25. Yes, I know there's gonna be comments saying, why didn't you read the whole book? Here's the thing. I would, but I learned my lesson last time when I did the Beware the Snowman book. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I know this could be comments saying you should have read the whole book. Yes, I would. A very long book, and I mean, if you could do that, by all means, do it. But for right now, I'm just gonna skip to chapter 25. I'm sorry, I know. I'm gonna get over it. Let's just continue. Okay, chapter 25. I cried out, but he squeezed my hand, his eyes burning in mine. He seemed to be begging me with his eyes, begging me not to say anything. Not to give him away. Who is he, I wondered, frozen in the bright spotlight. Why does he look familiar? I turned back to the audience, silent, wondering, waiting for me to speak. I took a deep breath and said Esmeralda's next line. Phantom, why do you haunt the theater? Please, tell me a story. I'll not be afraid. The Phantom swept his cape behind him. His eyes were locked up on mine, his gloved hand squeezing mine tightly as he to keep me from escaping. I have lived under this theater for more than 70 years, he declared. My story is a sad one. You might even call it tragic, my fair Esmeralda. Please continue, I exclaimed. Who is he? I asked myself. Who? I was chosen to be a star in this play. In a play, the Phantom revealed. A play in this very theater. It was to be my greatest night of my life. He paused. He took a long, deep breath. My heart skipped a beat. He's reciting the script, I realized. Those aren't the right words. What is he saying? But my greatest night would never to be, the Phantom continued. He's still gripping my hand. You see, my dear Esmeralda, an hour before the play was to begin, I fell. I plunged to my death. I gasped. He pointed to the trapdoor. I realized who he was now. He was the boy who disappeared. The boy 72 years ago, who was the star at the Phantom, but disappeared and was never found. Here he was standing beside me on the same stage. Here he was revealing to us all how he disappeared, why the play was never performed. There! He cried, pointing to the opening in the stage floor. That is where I fell. That is where I fell to my death. I became a real phantom, and I waited down there ever since, waiting, hoping for a night like tonight, where I can finally play my greatest role. As he finished that speech, the audience burst into cheers and loud applause. They think it's part of the play, I realize. Oh, I'm spitting on my book. Anyway, they don't know the true pain behind his words. They don't know that he's revealing his true story to them. The Phantom took a deep bow. The applause grew even louder. The fog bellowed over us both. Who is he? Who? The Phantom repeated in my mind. I had to know the answer. I had to know who the Phantom was. As he stood up from his bow, I pulled my hand free of his. Then I reached up and tugged off his mask. Chapter 26. I squinted into the thick blue fog, desperate to see his face. The bright spotlight flashed in my eye, blinding me for a moment. In that moment, the Phantom covered his face with both his hands. I reached to pull away his hands. No! He screamed. No! You can't! He struggled back away from me, struggling and losing his balance. No! No! He cried. You can't! You can't! And he toppled backwards into the open trap door. He vanished in the swirl blue fog. I heard him scream all the way down. No! Then silence. A horrible, still silence. Then the audience rose to their feet, burst in loud applause, and cries of "Bravo!" They all think it's part of the play, I realized. But I knew better. I knew the Phantom was finally revealing himself after 72 years. He has finally had his moment on stage. And then he died all over again. As the curtains closed, the muffle, the Simon's cheers of the audience. I stood up opening in the floor. My hand pressed to my face. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I stared down in the hole in the floor, saw only blackness. Then raised my eyes. I saw Zeke running across the stage, wearing jeans and a white t-shirt. He lunged toward me, his expression dazed. Zeke, I cried. Ow! Someone hit me, I think, he moaned, rubbing the back of his head. I've been out cold. He raised his eyes to me. Brooke, are you okay? Did the Phantom, I cried. He took your part. Zeke, he's down there. I pointed into the opening. We gotta find him. I stepped on the peg. The trapdoor clanked and groaned. The platform raised, returned to the top. Zeke and I climbed aboard. We rose down to the dark chamber below. We searched every corner. We couldn't find him. We couldn't find the mask or the costume or anything. Somehow, I knew we wouldn't. I knew we wouldn't ever see him again. Great job, people! Great job! Miss Walker called to us as we troop off stage. Phantom, I realized the new lines you added. Great job. You see you all at the cast party, which I didn't know that was a thing, but here we are. Zeke and I struggled to get the dressing room so we can get changed, but we were mobbed by people who wanted to congratulate us and tell us how talented and terrific we were. The play was a major success. I searched for Brian. I wanted to tell him all about the Phantom, but I couldn't see him in the crowd of friends and parents. Come on, let's get out of here, Zeke cried. He pulled me by the hand out of the auditorium into the hall. Wow, we're a hit, I exclaimed, feeling totally dazed, popping down in his dazed and crazed at all the same time. Let's get our coats and get changed at home, Zeke suggested. We'll try to figure out who will play my part on the way, then we can meet back at my house to go to the party. Okay, I agreed. But we have to hurry. My parents want to tell me what a fabulous star I was. Sounded excited chatter and laughter ejected from the auditorium and followed us until we made our way to the locker. Hey, I stopped in front of my locker. Look, Zeke, the door is open. I didn't leave it unlocked. Weird, Zeke muttered. I pulled the door all the way open. A book toppled over on the floor. I bent up to pick it up. It was in a book, a brown cover, worn and dusty. I turned around, squinted to read the cover in the dim hall light. It's a really old yearbook, I told Zeke. Look, it's from this school. What's Mill? But it's from the 1920s. How did it get in the locker? Zeke asked, staring down at it. My eyes fell on a torn sheet of paper tucked inside a bookmark. Grippled the heavy book in both hands. I opened the page, marked by the bookmark. Wow, Zeke cried. I don't believe it. We're staring at the yearbook article about the Phantom, about the play we performed. The Phantom, to be performed this spring, read the headline at the top. This must be written early that school year, I said. We know the play would never perform. We know the whole story of what happened back then. Hold the book up to the light, Zeke instructed. Let's check out the pictures. I raised the book up. We both stared at the small photograph that covered the 2 pages. Then we saw it, a small, blurry, black and white photo of the boy who had won the starring role, the boy who was to play the Phantom, the boy who had disappeared. The boy was Brian? Yeah, and that's the end. Yeah, like I said, I would have gone through the whole book, like I said I would, but this is a long-ass book, and the last book I did from Goosebumps that I read was 2 freaking hours. Jesus fucking Christ, so give me some slack. Jesus. And also sorry. And also I have, stuttering, so it'd be weird it'd be hiring to do that throughout the entire book, just stuttering. Anyway, so yeah, here's the thing. When I said, the boy who was put to play, the boy was Brian? Because here's the thing, in the episode, at the end, they're like, we know it never performed. We know it was never played. And they look at the book and says, it was, oh my god, I can't believe it was Brian Colson. But in the book, it just said Brian, because, why not? I mean, why not give your character a last name that's supposed to be the Phantom? But whatever, I'm not going to question their logic, even though they gave him a last name throughout the entire story. Well, not the entire story, but when he appeared. But when we suddenly get the reveal of, hey, look, this guy was actually this guy the entire time. It's like, no, let's not give him a last name. That'd just be weird. Even though it's just... If there's one nitpick I can say about the book, and it's a very small nitpick, is that at the end, when they said it was the boy was Brian. Yeah, here's the thing. There's a lot of kids named Brian, so you need to be more specific. Like in the episode, they changed it to them saying, "I can't believe it. The boy was Brian Colson." Yeah, that's the one thing that the episode has over the book. Is they actually made sense of the ending, where we could tell, hey, this kid with this kid. I'm not gonna do the same thing that I did earlier with the character, but you get my point. It's just yeah. So that was Phantom of the Auditorium. I would have gone through the whole book, but like I said, I learned my lesson from Beware the Snowman. So Hopefully, Audible makes a audio version of this, so I won't have to stutter my way for this book. I love the book, but I'm way too stuttery to read through the whole thing. So I'm sorry if you wanted me to do that, or if you thought I was gonna do that. But I'm sorry. I really am, okay? Anyway, yeah. Hope you like this, and if there's any more Goosebumps book you want me to read, or at least try to read, let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can do it. Anyway, see you guys next time. Bye!